Good morning, good evening, and good afternoon. However you want to live your life. It's Coach Baird coming to you live from the Baird Cave, and you're listening to the Baird Necessities. Thanks everyone who's taken the time to listen. We're all growing more and more each week. Last week was a big episode, not just because we had Eastman and Clancy on in the Baird Cave. The stories we had. See, that's why I wanted to do this. That's why I wanted to start this podcast. You know, hanging out with athletes, seeing the best part of them, getting to know them, and just letting them be kids. Looking back now, 20 years from now, I hope to remember that day, that fun we had. If you're new to the podcast, my name is Jack Baird. I'm an assistant varsity baseball coach at Gull Lake High School. I've been doing this for the past 12 years, and I've enjoyed every single minute of it. I started this podcast because I love sports, and I love talking about sports. So getting the opportunity to talk with local high school athletes that are doing big things is a special thing for me. I'm really impressed on the positive feedback I've gotten from all who listen. Thank you so much. And thank you for all the support from all my guests willing to join me in the Baird Cave. I have been very spoiled. They've been very, very willing to come and do this for me. I appreciate it. Plus, there's several people who've been coming up to me wanting to be part of this. Trust me, everyone, you'll get your time. You can check me out on iTunes, Spotify, and Podbean. Follow me on Twitter at the Baird NEC. I'm working on an Instagram account. Apparently, that's cool these days. So I started one, but it got flagged. I don't even know what I did. You can send me an email at thebairdnec@gmail.com. If you want to hear anything from you, just let me know. I want to hear from you. Let me know. Can you believe the Baird Necessities have reached Europe now? How cool is that? I've got downloads in Turkey and Singapore. And I know Singapore is in Asia, by the way. I did not fail geography. Is it? It's in Asia. Yeah, I'm pretty sure. Anyways. All right. So, okay. We're starting to spread like wildfire. I need your help, though. Tell everybody about me. I figured with Purple Day coming up, I'm going to do a special show. I'm going to slow it down a little bit. Normally, this is all about having fun with athletes and learning about them. Normally, I'd have a special guest in with me in the Baird Cave or have one join me on the Baird phone. Not this time. I'm going to do a solo podcast. This is just me, so you're going to have to hear my voice throughout the whole thing. I'm going to throw in some videos, some audio of some videos, I should say. Of some special moments that have happened that I really would like to share. It adds to the podcast, and it breaks it up so you don't have to keep hearing me drown about, what I'm talking about right now. So with that said, this week again is different. Like I said, this week my guest is unable to use her own voice or to share her own story. So I'm going to use mine to do so. Going back to Purple Day, which is March 26th, and get this on the 26th, rush in my timeline for my podcast real quick. It's a day where people worldwide wear purple for support of epilepsy. There are approximately 50 million people around the world living with epilepsy, and it's estimated that 1 in 100 people have epilepsy. My wife and I will be wearing purple for one special person that day, our daughter Jane Annabelle. I remember the day Jennifer told me I was going to be a father. She had woken up early and just felt the need to take the test. We hadn't been trying very long, so it was kind of on a whim for her to do that. She came in afterwards with a big smile and let me know. I cannot remember what the details were or how we told everyone, but I do remember we let them know, or how we let them know it was a girl. Jennifer wore a pink ribbon around her belly to a family event. It took everyone a bit to figure it out, but they finally caught on. We did all the normal things couples would do, special classes. We got pictures done, the whole works. Poor Jennifer was pregnant through the hot months of summer, which kind of sucks. But she was a trooper through all of it. She even joined me while I was coaching the summer baseball travel team. She has always been there for me. We suffered a big loss during her pregnancy. Jennifer's mother passed away before Jane was born, so Jane never got to meet her grandma, Patty. Jane was born actually close to my birthday. She was 3 days after mine, which means nobody really celebrates my birthday anymore, which is fine. I'm cool with that. I remember the day Jennifer was feeling very, very uncomfortable in the morning. She tried everything, a warm bath, etc. She called the doctor. The doctor told her several things to try, and, she tried everything. Finally, the doctor said, let's go to the hospital, get checked out. When we got there, they put us in what looked like a closet, to me, at least it was. We had to wait until we got our official room, so we were in the small room before we got admitted. It was a Sunday morning. I remember when I went in, because I was watching the Lions play in that small, tiny little room. We finally got moved into the main room, and we were glad. The birthing suite was pretty awesome. It was very spacious, and it was like a hotel room, to be honest. The nurses were great. The best part about it was our normal doctor, was on vacation, so we had to have a fill-in. So we just had the hospital doctor come in. The labor went well. Jennifer was amazing. We had a lot of family in the waiting area, and I made sure that they were well informed on what was going on. I actually got yelled at by Jennifer for doing it. I believe I was texting the whole time while Jennifer was pushing, so she was not a happy camper with me doing that. I believe Jane decided to meet us around 10:30 at night. I still have her picture on my phone. After extremely easy pregnancy with no complications, she met many milestones early. Jane rolled over at 2.5 months, cooed and babbled early. She even had over 15 words by 8 to 9 months. Jennifer thought it was odd that she didn't crawl sooner than she did, but she rolled over so early, so it took her about 6 to 7 months to begin army crawling and learning how to pull herself up to her knees. She enjoyed walking with support between 7 and 10 months. It appeared that she had a little low tone. All in all, she was a happy-go-lucky baby. I'm going to bring up an audio file. Actually, it's a video of Jennifer and Jane playing on Jennifer's phone. What it is a picture of Papa, which is my dad, and it's Jennifer and Jane interacting. Just give it a listen. Basically, this is what Jane would do. She had a voice. She used to say many words. So just sit back and listen and hear this. This is what she has to say.
Papa? Where's Papa? Where'd he go? There's Papa. Papa. Oh, where'd Papa go? Where'd he go? Let's find him. There's Papa. Where'd Papa go? Where's Papa? Where'd he go?
That was Jane and Jennifer playing on Jennifer's phone. She had a picture of Papa, my dad, her grandpa, on the phone, and she was going through and she saw his picture and she's like, "Who's that?" It says Papa. She had Papa. She had so many words, it was crazy. And just to see her regress like she did, that part of the story is coming up. Jennifer started a new job in May of 2012 when Jane was just 8 months old. She previously worked at a daycare where Jane was attending. These are Jennifer words now. You can find this on the website that I will talk about later on. This is Jennifer's voice. This is Jennifer telling her side of the story. I'm using my voice because Jennifer is a little bit introverted and she wasn't really thrilled about the idea of coming on a podcast. So she just decided it was okay for me to just use her words. So like I said, these are Jennifer's words now. I will never forget that mid-July Tuesday morning. Jane was 9.5 months old when I got a phone call from the daycare director. She said Jane just had a seizure. My heart sank. All I could do was muster up and say, "Are you joking, right?" She said, "I wish I was." She let me know that they called an ambulance and Jane was been taken to the local hospital. Once in the hospital, they deemed it a febrile seizure, even though Jane had no signs of fever or illness that day. They sent us home to follow up with her pediatrician. We followed up with our pediatrician the next day and discovered that Jane had a rash on her shoulders and back. They were told this was a viral rash and the virus could have triggered the seizure. Apart from the rash, she seemed pretty healthy and happy. On Thursday, we sent her back to daycare. No problem. Around the same time of day, that Thursday morning, we received another call from daycare. Jane had another seizure. Once again, at the hospital, they felt that it was another febrile seizure. Again, with no signs of having been sick or running a fever. However, the ambulance drivers felt that the room might have been extremely hot. They were having vent issues that week, so that could have been caused her body temperature to go up. The ER staff consulted the pediatric neurologist in a nearby city in Kalamazoo. He said there was no reason to see her and to start her on phenobarbital and then send her home. As they went to get the prescription, Jennifer was holding Jane in her arms. She appeared to have a startle reflex, which she has had multiple times per day in and out of sleep her whole life. What happened next made me extremely uneasy. What we thought was a startle reflex turned into a full-blown seizure right in Jennifer's arms. We yelled for the ER staff to come in, and they said this changes everything. And we began making arrangements to be sent over to the children's floor at Bronson Hospital. While in the ER, she had a third seizure. The poor seizures wore Jane out so bad, the ambulance ride was uneventful. During our hospital stay, Jane's seizures became more intense, and she began having them more often, until she was having them one every hour. We tried many different combinations of medication, assuring us that it was typical to try about 3 to 4 different combinations of meds before giving up. I think they ended up trying about 8 or 10. We were in the hospital for a week and a half. The EEGs were not typical. They could not pinpoint a focal point of the seizures. Her MRI came back with little extra fluid around her brain. The neurologist said she was only 10 months old, and not uncommon for the brain to be a little smaller at this age. Other than that, the test after test came back normal. After many of the different medications, on our last day at the hospital, they found the combination of 3 different medications, clonazepam, trileptal, and phenobarbital, that appeared to just stop her seizures altogether. Jane officially learned how to crawl while we were in the hospital. finally at 10 months old and crawling on her hands and knees. I think she was just hoping to bust out of there. We stayed in one more night for observation and went home the next day. Jane had one more seizure the next day. After adjusting her phenobarbital levels down to a therapeutic dose, we seemed to get our baby back. She became more and more alert and acted like her normal self again. I remember playing with her in the hospital, and the children's unit was really nice. All the nurses were great. They did a tremendous job with Jane, and it's hard to keep a 9-month-old in pretty much, it seemed like a cage. The bed looked like a cage with railings and everything, and she just wanted to go, go, go. This next clip I have, this next video, we had a little play mirror for her, and she was just going to town on it. She was just yelling at it, kissing the mirror. It was fun. It was fun to see her explore like that. Are you yelling at that baby? Kiss the baby.
Yay!
Hi. Silly. Rah, 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 rah. Oh, where'd the baby go? Where'd the baby go? There she is. Yeah, you tell her. Tell her who's boss. Just like you pushing Lexi off of Grandpa's lap. Who's boss? I'm the boss. I'm the boss. I'm the boss.
Hi.
Say, get mommy. Roar. When we were able to leave, she just wanted to go. And go, go, go. So we left. It was a good experience and a bad experience at the same time. The doctor, Dr. Fain is her doctor, did a very good job with her. We got her all set and ready to go, and we were out. We busted that place out, and we had a good time leaving. So Jane turned 1 that fall. She began having many sensory issues, banging her head, not wanting to sit in her high chair, becoming easily frustrated. At the beginning of 2013, Jane appeared ill and was very lethargic for about 3 weeks. She would just lie there and scream at us if we tried to console her. She snapped out of it for a couple weeks, but then all of a sudden back to the same manner for another few weeks. From that point, she began using fewer and fewer words. Didn't care to be on her own feet. She became very temperamental and began having a huge sensory issues to sensitivity, sound, and touch. She had a couple breakthrough seizures in the spring, but nothing major. That summer, we went to Detroit Children's Hospital for a PET scan, which came back with multiple areas of concern. The pediatric neurologist told us it looked like just a multifocal cortical dysplasia and sent us home to be followed up by our neurologist. For the remainder of the year, Jane's sensory and behavior issues fluctuated in severity, changing slightly here and there. By this time, Jane was not walking and wouldn't walk. We were concerned that possibly the phenobarbital could be partially cause of Jane's language regression, so that summer we weaned her off of it. Then Jane turned 2 in the fall of 2013. We switched her from clonazepam to a newer medication, Onfi. She was doing well with no seizures, so we began weaning her dose of Onfi. At Jane's 2-year checkup in October, we updated her immunizations. Somewhere between updating her immunizations and weaning her off of the second seizure medicine, Jane's system went haywire, and that November, she had her second cluster of seizures. We tried unsuccessfully to get her under control at home at first. She was beginning to turn blue during these seizures, which is new for us, which scared us tremendously, so we decided to take her back into the hospital. We were admitted for about a week and a half. Increasing her Onfi and then her trilaptol didn't stop the seizures. We tried Vimpat again with no luck. Her EEG was still showing generalized epilepsy. On that day, they caught a seizure on the EEG, and though brief, before generalizing, they found a left temporal lobe focus. She has moderate slowing on her left side and a little on the right. We put her back on phenobarbital that day, and her seizures stopped. Soon after that, we had another MRI, which showed that there was still some extra fluid around her brain. At that point in time, the neurologist told us that her brain wasn't growing like it was supposed to, and her melanation was delayed. White matter wasn't growing like it was supposed to. At that point in time, we began genetic testing. We did a biopsy for Batten's disease, which was negative. Then we were referred to the University of Michigan for further genetic testing. An epilepsy panel didn't show us anything. However, with this test, she had found some extra material on one of her X chromosomes, which they were unsure of the significance. So in June 2014, we did a chromosomal microarray. They took samples from both Jennifer and myself in order to have a base comparison in the case if they found something in Jane. After another long 6 months, in January 2015, we received news that Jane had a new mutation of the PCDH19 gene. Her mutation is on a significant part of the gene, where many of the other mutations are found. Also, she inherited this specific mutation from Jennifer, which we think her mom had too. As a child, Jennifer had 2 seizures around the age of 5 and no significant other symptoms. Why this mutation is affecting our baby differently, we'll probably never know. We finally have an answer though. Since we just found out, we are taking it all in, and we found what it means for our family and for Jane. Within the year, Jane's sensory issues had decreased significantly. She began walking before her second birthday. I remember that trip. We took a trip to Erie, Pennsylvania. We wanted to see the Tigers AA team, the Erie Seawolves. We brought my mom with us so we can watch Jane and hang out while we're at the game. We left her at the hotel. We didn't take Jane to a game. She went to a baseball game later in life, but not this time. Why Erie, you say? Well, Jennifer and I had made a goal to see every level of the Tigers minor league system. We started with the Whitecaps while we were dating. During our honeymoon, we drove from Orlando to Lakeland to see the Flying Tigers play. Longest game ever. It was 17 innings. We were like 2 of 5 people who actually stayed until the end. We also went to Toledo and Detroit. We saw the Mud Hens and the Tigers play. Not the same weekend, but all we needed was Erie and, well, the Connecticut Tigers. We haven't been to Connecticut yet. That's on my bucket list. Back to Erie. We got a big suite at the hotel, and I think after a car ride and the amount of space we had, Jane decided it was time to get up and walk around and run. And she did. My mom said she was running all over the room. I remember going to a mall in Erie and just letting her run around. I was so proud. I was watching the video earlier. There's not any really good sound to it, so I won't play it, but I could see some of the people around her just watching in amazement, just watch her run around and have fun like she did, not knowing that was her real first time actually walking. We finished the trip by going up to Niagara Falls. I'm glad we were able to do that with my mom before she passed. Jane's behavior is difficult sometimes. She's been pinching herself, hitting herself, head banging, etc. Not a good head banging like you do to music like Metallica. But she doesn't talk, but she's very communicative in other ways. She still gets easily frustrated at times. She has an array of other health issues, including swallowing, constipation, asthma, low iron, low vitamin D, and has been sick every 2 weeks for almost a year. After receiving early intervention services until the age of 3, we enrolled Jane in a special education classroom designed for children with autism. The ratio of adults to children was small, 1 to 2, and it has been an adventure. Jane had slept during class for over the half of the year, which yet has made small gains. I think the most notable gain was 3 weeks into the program. She had been awake 1 week of the 3 weeks, and she learned how to throw a ball. We continue to search other therapies and therapists who can give us some help or insight on how to work with her sensory issues and language communication delays. Jane has many autistic characteristics, but everyone tiptoes around the idea of autism diagnosis because she has the medical diagnosis of epilepsy. Regardless, it doesn't change who Jane is or how we feel about her. She is still the light of our lives. All in all, she's a pretty happy toddler who loves to swing, jump, and climb. She loves Disney Junior and playing on her iPads and building block towers with help. Actually, she can do it pretty well on her own right now. Her huge smile and laughs, highly contagious to those around her. I'm going to insert a clip right now of her laugh. This is just a recent laugh. And just hearing her, this is how she giggles. And it's just amazing to hear her laugh every time like that. Yeah, she's just so crazy to be around. Jane has come a long way since we realized she had a rare disease. And that's what it is. It's a rare disease. And everyone around us has been a huge support. She has an army of people willing to help out, and we cannot thank all of you enough. It's been a rough past 5 years. We've lost both my mom and my dad, which has been hard on all of us. My parents love Jane and willing to do anything for her. Some of my favorite memories of her were with them. I remember going to South Carolina to see my brother and his family. During one of the dinners, my dad was slapping the table and saying, "I'm the boss," which Jane would slap the table too. This is the video of that. You can't really hear Jane or hear her slapping the table, but if you could see this video and see the look on her face and how precious this moment was, I will never forget this trip.
I'm boss. I'm boss.
You want me to do it since I'm closer?
Nope. I'm boss. Abu. I'm boss. Abu. Janie's boss.
I'm boss.
I'm boss.
She makes the cutest face every time she wrinkles her nose.
I'm boss.
Yeah. It was tough losing my dad, too. We lost my dad and then my mom with almost a year apart. But my mom loved to watch Jane as much as she could, and she took advantage of that. We also received tremendous support from a group called PCDH 19 Alliance. The PCDH19 Alliance was started by 3 parents of children affected by the PCDH19 epilepsy. In effort to supporting ongoing research this debilitating disease, their mission is to improve the lives of children and families who are affected by the PCDH19 related epilepsy. The Alliance focuses on raising and directing funds to scientific research with the goal of finding better, more efficient treatments and ultimately a cure, providing information and support to be effective to families and existing the efforts of medical community so that no family suffers without a diagnosis and the most appropriate medical treatment. PCDH19 is a disease with a wide spectrum of severity in seizures, cognitive delays, and other symptoms, which are caused by the mutation of the PCDH19 gene on the X chromosome. Males with the mutation will largely be unaffected, will pass the mutation on to 100% of their daughters and none of their sons. Women with this mutation have a 50% chance of passing it to their daughters and 50% to their sons. Recent scientists have discovered some unaffected females and are studying them, learn what is protecting them from this disease. Mosaic males are also affected, but so far very few males have been diagnosed. The group has been amazing. In 2016, we were able to meet a lot of key members involved in this great cause. Every other year, they hold a PCDH19 Alliance Professional and Family Conference. That year was held in the city by the bay. That's right, San Francisco. We decided that this would make a great family trip. We began with uncertain how Jane would handle flying, so we decided to drive out to California. That's right, we took 3 days to drive out. I'm pretty sure that's where she developed her love for car rides. Probably one of the best trips I've ever taken. We got to meet some other families that were going through the same issues that Jennifer and I were. Plus, Jane and I got to go on a little adventure. Actually, a lot of little adventures. During the conference, they had a small room for us and the kids to play when everything was going on. One day, Jane was getting antsy and decided she wanted to go. Naturally, I found a park nearby, so we skipped out of the conference. Don't tell anyone. When Jane had enough of the park, we decided to Google crazy streets in San Francisco. I remember from the Princess Diaries, all the crazy hills that were there. So the Google search gave me Lombard Street. I was like, okay, let's see what this is all about. Okay, so if you're unfamiliar with Lombard Street, Google it right now. I'm going to stop everything for you can do so. Yeah, go on Google Lombard Street and tell me what you think. All right, and now we're back. Crazy, isn't it? Basically, it's a one-way street that serpentines down a steep grade. And apparently, it's a huge tourist attraction. So I drove down it the whole way. All I can remember was the people taking pictures of me. It was insane. It was as if they thought I was Kevin James or something. We spent a lot of quality times with the others and did a lot of touristy things. We met a lot of great people, and we hope to get back there to the next one. After the conference, we moved to Hayward, California, a suburb of Oakland. While there, we had some adventures of our own, too. We had some In-N-Out Burger, which is amazing. Yeah, if you're ever out anywhere that gets In-N-Out Burger, they're not paying me to say this, but I'm going to honestly say this is probably one of the best fast food burgers I've ever had. Thanks to Dan Steiger, former Gull Lake alum, who met us out there and bought us dinner. So it was great. While we were out there, we visited Google and Facebook's headquarters in Silicon Valley. We also went to the Magical Bridge Playground in Palo Alto. It's an all-inclusive playground so that everyone with different abilities could play together. Also later that night, and I kind of decided if I was going back and forth if I wanted to go do this or not. But when you're out in San Francisco area and they're playing, you just got to go. I went to AT&T Park and watched the Giants take on the Red Sox. I took the BART, which is cool. My only regret was leaving early. It was tied at 3-3 after 9. I was afraid I was going to miss the BART back to Oakland, so I kind of rushed out when I saw the opportunity. The park was amazing. It's number one on the list of places to see a baseball game. On our way back home, we went up north to Crater Lake in Oregon. That was neat. We went to Yellowstone and did all the cool things there. I remember driving around and Jennifer would freak out every time she saw a buffalo. She only saw half of them, by the way. I was going to point out all of them. Sheesh. Overall, it was a trip to remember. For more information on PCDH19 Alliance, visit their website at pcdh19info.org. It's a great website. Most of Jennifer's story is what I took from that website. There's so many other girls that are affected by this too, and all of their stories are on there too. So if you get a chance, go in and visit it, pcdh19info.org. They have a lot of stories, like I said, of girls out there fighting the same fight as Jane. I don't know where Jennifer and I would be without them. They're amazing. I actually contacted them before I started this podcast just to know that, is there anything that you don't want me to say or do want me to say? And they said, you know what, just use your voice. Use your voice because Jane can't use hers. So they're really great, and I hope they can spread this out so we can get as many people to download this episode and get this information out. This isn't for me. This is for Jane, and this is for all the other girls out there that has this disease. So please do this. Download, share, like, tell your friends, tell everybody. I'm going to try to do as much promoting of this as I can. Again, this isn't for me. This is for my daughter, Jane. Jane is now 7 and still nonverbal. Trust me, though, she has ways of letting us know what she wants. She's recently had a VNS put in her. A VNS is a vagus nerve stimulator. Basically, it's a pacemaker for your brain. It helps control seizures in turn. We hope we can start weaning her off some of her other meds. Fingers crossed. We just got it done, and I can see some of the benefits already. She's currently attending Doris Clausen Development Center in Battle Creek, another place that we cannot thank enough. The people that run that place and all the people that help are amazing. Her teacher, her aides, everybody that works there loves Jane. Actually, one of her aides is Darcy, and Darcy is Jane's babysitter. She watches Jane whenever we need a break. The school decided to split Jane's classroom up last year, so we got new teachers and new aides. From the sounds of it, she's doing well. The classroom is still the same, but it's split up in a way, so Darcy still can keep an eye on her for us. Oh, and Jane will sneak away every once in a while to see her. Jane is one lucky girl. Quick funny Jane story. At school, they keep extra pairs of underwear just in case someone has an accident. Jane's new thing is to go steal a pair and whine until they put them on her. She's not potty trained yet. Being nonverbal, it's difficult for her to communicate that she needs to go. She tells us when she's wet. Oh man, she gets upset. But she won't tell us that she needs to go. But she does understand where the underwear are and where they're supposed to go and realizes that they're important. Granted, she wants to wear them over her pants. Now that's a different story. I think she gets that from me, but who knows? Her hobbies haven't changed much. She loves playing on her iPads and eating chips. She loves Doritos, Cool Ranch, and nacho cheese. She also loves pizza, spaghetti. It's got to be Fazoli's and hot dogs. We try to mix up what she eats, but she likes what she likes, and if she doesn't like it, she'll tell you. Her favorite show kind of changed from Mickey Mouse Club to Vampirina. Interesting fact about Vampirina. I knew the guy sounded familiar. The dad on the show is voiced by James Vanderbeek, Dawson himself. Yeah, Dawson from Dawson's Creek, James Vanderbeek. Yeah. She loves taking rides and basketball. We got her a mini door hoop that she loves watching us play on. She hasn't quite figured out how to shoot yet, but she knows the ball needs to go through the hoop. I got a good video of her during baseball practice. I took her up and we got to run around in the gym, and she had the basketball, and you could see it in her eyes that, she was walking towards the hoop. She knew that it needed to go in the hoop, and I was recording, so I don't think she noticed I was recording. So she walked up, and you could tell she hesitated, and she almost tried to throw it up there. And then later on, when I was recording again, she actually tried. So it was really great. She actually tried to throw it up towards the basket. So she knows what's going on. So another thing, March Madness is on right now, and I left the game on while I went out to do something, and Jennifer said Jane walked up by the TV, stopped in front of it, and just stared at it for about a minute. She stared until someone made a basket and then went on her way. She waited and waited until someone made a basket. Once the ball went through the hoop, she went on her way. It was crazy. She also loves her playset. A few years back, Jane was nominated for a Make-A-Wish to have a wish granted. We weren't really sure of two things. One, what we wanted, and two, if we were really deserving of this gift. After deep thought, we did realize Jane was more than qualified for this gift. We then had a long thought on what we wanted. Jane always loved going to the playground, and since we had a big backyard, having a playset would be a perfect thing for her to have. So thanks to Make-A-Wish for that. It's starting to get nice out, so I'm waiting for her to figure out that we still have it out there in our backyard. And she did. Today she decided that she wanted to go outside, and Jennifer sent me a picture while I was doing laundry. They were out there in her swing, having a good old time. She went up into her clubhouse. The only problem is once she gets inside, the first thing she wants to do is take her coat off. She went up inside her clubhouse and decided, well, it's a good time to take my coat off. So she took her coat off. She loves hiding in that clubhouse. Just to see the joy it brings her is amazing. It's the little things that I really enjoy. And it's funny how excited she can get over just the small things. Yesterday, for example, I had to take Jane to one of my doctor's appointments. I had to put her in her stroller. Boy, did she love that. Just riding in her stroller was giving her the biggest smile and giggles. I love her giggles and her smiles. Again, she's nonverbal, but she has her ways of telling us what she wants. Her normal way is to grab our hand and take us to what she wants, or she'll bring us stuff from the pantry. Sometimes it's what she wants, and then there's times she just brings us instant potatoes. Her favorite thing to do, stand in front of the refrigerator. She gets it from her dad. She knows where we keep her chips, and then we keep them up there, so she'll stand there and just look up and wait until we actually get up and help her. She knows how to get our attention. Sometimes we don't know exactly what she wants. We let her stand on the counter so she can get whatever she wants. Again, it's a small thing in life that she enjoys. Who knew pan lids would be her favorite as well? She likes to spin pan lids on the floor. In fact, there are 3 of them sitting on our kitchen floor as I speak. Things with her have been very interesting. Many great things, but some bad. We hear a lot of times that we're good parents or great parents, but sometimes I just don't think so. I don't think I am sometimes. I feel bad for getting frustrated or upset with her. It's really hard, but it happens. I don't think anybody can say that they don't get frustrated or upset at their kid. It's harder on me because I know that she can't tell us what's going on and she can't tell us what she wants. So it's difficult to be, I get more mad at myself because I get mad at her, and it's difficult. Again, it happens. I try not to let it happen, but we have a lot on our plate with her in life in general. It takes a toll on Jennifer and I, and I know our relationship needs work, but deep down, I love both of them, and I'm glad that they're in my life. Every parent with a child with special needs goes through the phase of why me? Why my child? Why am I struggling with that? I see all the good things we have, but sometimes I wonder what life Jane would lead. What's going to happen when she gets older? Is she going to get married? Am I going to be able to walk her down the aisle? Will she be able to start her own family? Am I going to be able to get a chance to be a grandparent and spoil her like her Nana and Papa and her grandpa does right now? It's sometimes very hard to be positive, but with the help from Jennifer and the group that we're in, we get a lot of support. Due to the health issues that I have and the 50-50 chance of giving a girl with the same disease, we decided not to try for another one. Who knows what the future holds? But for now, we give her all our love and all our attention. It has been good days, and it's been bad. But before we got our diagnosis, we had no idea how this happened. I blame myself. I thought all the games Jennifer came to in the hot summer had an effect. I remember having to fish one of my pills out of Jane's mouth when she was younger. I know it sounds stupid, but those are the things that went through our minds. I remember one of the ladies that goes to our church giving us a letter saying it could have been something in our house causing it. To finally find out what caused this disease really helped out. And having PCDH19 Alliance family in our corner has been a plus. Our doctors are amazing as well, and the time that we spent in the hospital was special. In Detroit, I found out there were tunnels underground connecting the hospitals all together, which was cool because all hospitals had different places to eat. Some had Subway, some had Wendy's, some had Bigby. Yeah, I know, it's about food sometimes. It always is. Oh, and the hospital was a walking distance from the Comerica Park. I don't suggest doing it at night, by the way. So who knows what future will hold. I know I would do anything in our power to help our child. Just like every parent would. I want to thank all of you for listening to this podcast. I know I usually have fun and try to entertain, but this week is special, and so is my Jane. Getting her story out and her voice out there is important to me. Having an opportunity to do this is amazing. Doing these podcasts give me something to look forward to. It is an outlet where I can forget about my daily life and learn about others and share what others are going through. So if you keep listening, I'll keep pumping these out. Again, for more information about PCDH19, go to their website, www.pcdh19info.org. Jane's picture is on the homepage, which is sweet, so if you want to check out what she looks like, that's her. You can read more about her story and many other brave girls out there. You can learn more about this rare disease and what researchers are doing to help to find a cure. So please check it out. It's been a very helpful resource to have, and I don't know where I would be without them. If you like what you hear, please like, subscribe, rate, share, comment, all those fun things. You can always find the Baird Necessities on iTunes, Spotify, and Podbean. Please, please, please follow me on Twitter at @TheBairdNEC. Let me know how I'm doing. Drop me an email at thebairdnec@gmail.com. So Dr. Fain, who was in Kalamazoo, decided to move to DeVos. And so we go to DeVos now. And DeVos is amazing. You know, every hospital, the one in Detroit, Detroit's Children's Hospital, Bronson Children's Hospital, DeVos Children's Hospital, all those hospitals have been great. It's been amazing. We followed our doctor, Dr. Fain, left Kalamazoo to go work in Grand Rapids. So we went up there and went with him. And this whole process, they've all been great. Her pediatrician is awesome. So again, thank you to all those who have helped us out. They've been very special. I also want to thank Children's Special Health. We couldn't afford any of this without them. They pick up what my insurance can't, which is awesome because some of the co-pays on this medication that she's on would bankrupt us. Thanks to Children's Special Health, too, for giving us the support that we have. Like I said, we have a tremendous amount of support, and we have a tremendous amount of love in our family, in our heart, and it's all because of you guys. I want to thank her Grandpa Joe. I want to thank all her aunts, Aunt Lindsay, Aunt Sean, Aunt Kelly. I want to thank my brother, her Uncle Brian, her Uncle Matt. She really loves her Uncle Matt too. I don't know if it's just because he's a taller guy and she likes tall guys. I don't know if because he reminds her of me, but she loves him too.
We'd also like to thank Lexi, Jane's cousin. She really looks up to her. And Ariana, who's down in South Carolina. And Sam, who's going to Michigan State University. Go Green.
All my cousins, we travel out to Minneapolis almost every year. We've got some great family out there. My Aunt Robin, my Aunt Peggy, my Uncle David. I can keep naming names. So again, thank you for all that. She's got a great support group, and again, I can't imagine. Oh, I want to thank Colleen too. Colleen is another support. She's another babysitter if Darcy can't come through. Just knowing that we have qualified people that are willing to take care of Jane is amazing. So again, please share this story with everybody. Let's get Jane's story out there. Please. Let's drive up this downloads. Let's get this out there. This isn't for me, guys. This is for Jane. Please do this for Jane and all the other girls who have PCDH19 epilepsy. Again, thanks for listening. I'll have another podcast out here shortly. I'm excited for the next guest I'm going to have on. Get back to sports and not talking about feelings. But again, I wanted to take this opportunity and talk about Jane's voice and giving her the opportunity to share her story because she can't do it for herself. So again, thanks again for listening to the Baird Necessities. Catch me again next week, the same Baird time, the same Baird channel. Thank you so much again for listening. Good night.